when Drake said,
"Radio is king again. Billboard got me regulated. Wanna make it fair for you. Numbers that I generated."
He's referring to Billboard fixing the charts to restrict Drake's dominance and to give smaller rappers a fair shot. The week Scorpion released, Billboard implemented new rules to stop Scorpion, which went platinum on the day of its release, from breaking more records. Initially, when DSPs were first factored into Billboard rankings, the ratio had been 1,500 streams to one single album. After months of industry lobbying, the new ratio favored a paying subscriber over a free user. The bastions of popular music basically telling you that your streams matter less if you don't own a credit card. The Drake has a spoiled fan base. They are used to a lot of free music. Marvin's Room was released as a freebie, along with Trust Issues. Universal ended up taking them both down. And Drake responded to that takedown with, "Universal needs to stop taking my fucking songs down." Even in 2011, he refused to play by the music industry's rules. If you're reading this, it's too late was also one of these free offerings. Originally planned to be a mixtape hosted by DJ Drama and available for free download on DatPiff. If you don't know what DatPiff was, I'm sorry you missed out on the golden era of mixtapes. Anyway, Cash Money did not want Drake to do this, so Drake uploaded the entire mixtape on SoundCloud. Now, Billboard changing these streaming rules just to penalize Drake for having fans who stream his music for free is unfair, because the majority of his sales come through DSPs. In fact, Drake is the most streamed artist of all time. And he's achieved so not by gaming the charts, by releasing quality music. Jay-Z would rather game the charts by partnering up with Samsung or Sprint just to get that platinum plaque. Jay-Z seems to love this idea so much, he even made Rihanna do it. Problem with this tactic is it falls apart when you go on tour, because Samsung can inflate your sales but not fill your seats. So these artists found another way to game the system by bundling concert tickets with their album. And Travis Scott is one of the biggest offenders.
I've had a number 2 album and I never cared. It's just that when you have a number 2 album to someone who's selling shirts and merch and selling passes for a tour that's not even announced yet, it feels like you're being tricked. It feels like, someone is playing a game and like beating you at a game as opposed to just selling music. I want to sell music. Right.
The same year, Weeknd dropped After Hours with 80 different merch bundles. Now, Drake is not in the business of doing bundles, so when he released his Dark Lane demo tapes, he debuted behind country singer Kenny Chesney's album. Even though Drake's mixtape outperformed Kenny Chesney's album by about 22 times. Kenny Chesney bundled his album with a concert ticket. So if you bought an album, you received a concert ticket. And that is how he was able to outsell Drake, who again doesn't do bundles and relies heavily on the streaming numbers. And Billboard looked the other way, because Drake is bigger than the system. He refuses to play ball with the industry, and they hate him for that. And now that streaming has become a primary source of consuming music, Drake continues to gain power over the industry. So if any manipulation results in Drake looking bad, they're gonna look the other way. Because even Taylor Swift has a hard time competing with Drake. When she dropped a surprise album with no bundles, this is what her first week sales looked like. With Midnight, Taylor Swift released 20 variants of the same album. And of course, the loyal fans bought it all up, and that boosted her sales to more than 1 million. But when you look at the streaming data, you get the real picture. Because Taylor's first week numbers were still significantly lower than Drake's Scorpion and Certified Lover Boy, even after adding a surprise bonus album 3 hours into the official release, and a program on iHeartRadio pushing her shit the entire week. She was not touching Drake. It wasn't until 2024 that Taylor Swift surpassed Drake's numbers, but only by gaming the system, by releasing the deluxe edition of the album just 2 hours after releasing the original album. Taylor Swift is in the business of milking her fans. Like, she'll sell you anything and everything to boost those sales. And this gives a false idea of what really is popular in the music space. And Billboard has no problem with that unless it's BTS or even Travis Scott. With Drake, they go the extra mile of disrespecting him any chance they get, calling him a simp after placing him behind an artist who hasn't released an album since 2016, who hasn't been on tour since 2016. Says a lot about how Drake's success truly affects these people. They're mad because he doesn't need them to drive up his stock. People, for whatever reason, tune in to listen to Drake, while their favorite pop star who makes life-changing music has to sell cheap underwear with their album just to stay in the race.